Hello, this is Professor Urbiswai. Today we will work on dividing real numbers. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to divide 3.5 by 2.5. I have to understand that the division sign rules are the same as the multiplication. So when you divide two positive numbers, you get a positive. Divide two negative numbers, you still get a positive. When you divide a positive by a negative, you get negative. Negative by a positive, you get negative. So just understand that. You can also write these guys like that. 3.5 divided by 2.5. Or 3.5 divided by 2.5. They are all the same. So these two guys are positive, so the answer is going to be positive, and that is 1.4. Same way, positive with a negative, I can write like this. Okay, and I can write like that. But the answer is going to be negative, and it's going to be the same number, but sign negative. Now, negative by a positive, that means the same thing. Watch at the way I do that. Okay, negative, positive, so the answer is going to be a negative. How about two negatives? You have this situation. So you're going to end up double negative, a positive answer. Do you see it? So you can actually write this bunch of different ways, but make sure that you're consistent. Okay. What happens when you have signed fractions? All right, well, let's deal with that. Now, I have a negative with a positive. That means I have this situation. I'll write it differently so you get used to this. Negative 3/4 divided by 1/5. Remember how you do division of fractions. You take the dividend, you change the division into multiplication and flip the bottom. Then you multiply across. Negative, positive is a negative. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay? So, 11/4. You can also, 15/4. And then, I was just looking at a different thing. 15/4. So you can go, I have 3/4. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 3, that's 15. So you can either write it this way or that way. How about two negatives? So you have this situation. Take the top as is. Flip the bottom. So you're going to get a positive answer. 3 times 5, 15/4. Which is the same as 3 and 3/4. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 3, 15. What do I do when I have two mixed numbers? Two negatives. That means I'm going to get a positive answer. But what's important is I don't deal with mixed numbers. I change them to improper fractions. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 3, 11. Divided by 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1, 6. And that one is negative. What do I do with that? Leave the top alone. Change this into multiplication and flip this. Do you see that? Then what do I have? I'm going to have a positive 55 over 24. How many 24s in 55? I have two of them. That will get me to 48, and then I'll have a 7 left over. So 2 and 7/24, and that's as far as it goes. How about a fraction and a mixed number? And since these were both negative, I ended up with a positive answer. How about here? Take 3/4 divided by, change this into an improper. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1, 6. Now, this one is negative, remember? So I go 3/4, change this into multiplication, and flip it. Now, one other trick you can do, you can simplify before you multiply. That's a good trick. You will have a negative 5 on top, 2 times 4, 8 at the bottom. But what's important is that the signs, you handle the fractions and the decimals you were doing before just the same exact way.